Greetings, everybody. We're here. Joe, are you ready?
I'm ready, Bob. How are
Spike, are
you?
you ready? Oops. Spike actually texted me. He's driving into work. He should be here within 5 minutes. Plus, we have a special guest who should be joining us at any moment, which will be fun. And this is like a Bob, Spike, and Joe reunion, a little bit of a nostalgia party. And by the way, nothing is prepared. This is open ended. Uh, Whatever you feel like talking about, talk about, Joe, and same for Spike. Also, we can, and we're going to do something really. I'm going to propose something really goofy to our web developer, Dave, who never wants to be on the show. Hi, Dave.
Hey,
Spike's not here,
hey,
so you have to pop on a second. Dave is the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes who makes everything happen. Dave, I have this goofy idea for today that I'm
what's that?
springing on you right now. Can we take
Put me on
the
the spot.
invite? Yeah, can we take the
Yeah,
invite link for anyone who wants to pop on with their phone and say hi to us? Can we post that link somewhere in the comments or somewhere they can see it?
maybe.
I love that kind of definitive response. Okay, Dave, see if you can do that. You have you have the power, right?
I think so. Yeah, let me get the link and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, see if you can post that on Facebook and YouTube so people can see it. And I think it would be daring and a little bit scary. But remember when we're on the radio, Joe, we would just take phone calls, right?
Oh yeah, well we had a call screener. This would be kind of taking them on screen, but I've grown used to that here at my little high school radio station. We have a phone and it rings on the air. I mean, it goes ring and you pick it up and you say, "Hello, who's this?" Very dangerous. I don't recommend it, but it gets the kids thinking on their feet a little bit. So I know how that works. We could do
All
that.
right. And you know that we all had a long meeting about you, and we decided to make anytime you're on the show, and really the whole show, even the Bob and Zip show with Ed Kelly, we decided to make it a cuss-free zone. We decided the same thing my mother used to say: you don't need those words.
Well, that's great. And I didn't know if it was because of me or if because you were afraid you might get turned off of some platforms, but already somebody is saying it's nice to know no more F bombs, that they're not welcome on the show anymore.
That's
I
right.
think you get enough of that in enough different places that, you know, I think if you do humor right, you don't need to do too much swearing. Although I will say, anytime an injury is involved, I'm going to swear like a mofo. I uh, I just realized that about myself. Every time
Oh, no
like
kidding. Yeah.
I hurt myself or something, the first words that come out are the nastiest
Mm-hmm.
ones I know, and I don't know why that is, but it happens.
Hey, Patty. Hello. How are you? Anybody wants to ask me and Joe anything, just text it. Just text it to your Facebook or your YouTube feed. I do want to mention this. If you're watching us on Facebook, it's a great place to catch the live stream. But if you are watching us on YouTube, it's a great place to sign up, click subscribe, and like, and then we notify you every time we're going to go on. Plus, it's a great place to catch them on demand. And all of our podcasts, our audio podcasts, are at all the audio platforms like Spotify and Apple and Amazon and basically anyone that'll let us in the door. So, okay, we don't have Spike yet. We don't have our special guest, but we will at any moment. So right now it's just me and Joe.
Well, I'm still blown away by this technology that we can sit here live in different, well, you're in the West now, you're in the Southwest, but different
Different
places,
cities.
and people can, and that we can be on multiple platforms. I mean, I can understand. I mean, we were broadcasting on video 15 years ago, but only hosting on a particular
Yeah.
website.
We
You
couldn't
could
be
be
on KZOK, KJR, and KISW all at the same time.
No, this is fascinating, and the world's just getting smarter. My house got a lot smarter today. I already I was getting I got finally got an alarm installed and stuff. You know that you never know these days how it's going, but I didn't realize how much smart stuff you got when you sign up for an alarm now. I mean, my house already knows me. It said when I left, it said Joe just left from the front porch. I mean, it knows who I am. It can tell the difference between animals and people. It'll say there's an animal in your backyard. I mean, this is an amazing world we're living in right now.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're getting in on the smart home technology. Do you know that everybody in the world is spying on you and all of your data is going into like everything about you? Your vacuum cleaner knows what kind of furniture you have. You're smart. What kind of alarm did you get from a service?
Yeah, from ADT, which
Okay.
I had it for years, and then I haven't had it for years, but I had the sign in my yard, and that's done a good job. I haven't
The
had
sign
any.
is sometimes that's all you need. It's a sign
Oh
saying
yeah,
you have an alarm. Yeah.
a
Well, I
lot
think,
cheaper.
which house do you want to break into? I think we'll break into the one without the alarm.
Yeah, and that's what happened is my next door neighbor had an issue a month or so ago, and it's just getting to the point to where I kind of want to know who's poking around outside my house, be it a deer or a bad guy or whatever. I'm curious. So I saw
So
a
you
commercial
you
one time too many, and I
yeah.
said I'm going to call and do that. So I did.
And it's not that expensive, the monitoring, and even the equipment is cheap now. My son's system. Well, I got a new system too. It was $7.99 at Costco for 8 4K high resolution cameras, and the whole thing went in a couple of hours, and like super easy to do. Um, do you have cameras too?
Yes, I have a camera in front and a camera in back. I don't have
Mm.
8 of them, but I have 2. And now you're giving me some buyer's remorse because I think I might have spent a little more than that, and had to sign a really long-term deal to do it too. But
Yes, but no. But ADT is that's a good company. You're in good hands. You're monitored. Spike is joining us now.
Gentlemen,
How are you?
fat and happy.
Good.
Let me get
Excellent.
a better camera angle here.
Yeah,
Some of
you're a
them made me
little
look
less fat and just as happy if you adjust the
I know,
camera
right?
that way.
There you go. I
Wow,
broadcast.
this is wonderful. Bob, Spike, and Joe together. And a lot of people are commenting. That's great. Ask us a specific question if you want, and pretty soon, and this will be an experiment, but pretty soon we're going to post the link. And if you want to hop on the video with us, tell us why you want to hop on the video with us. And we don't really have a video screener, but we'll at least let a couple listeners on just to test the technology.
Or a dress code,
Oh yeah. I don't know if I can swipe right or left quick enough. I think here's the thing. And I was just talking to Joe about how we're not going to swear anymore. And you need to, do your buckle up, do your best. But at our age and our listeners, I don't think we have any bad guys out there or bad girls. I think we've all sown our wild oats. We've all robbed a convenience store or two and swore off ever doing that again, right? I've 3. Okay, 3.
Yeah.
And burned down your parents' house. I feel guilty. It's so funny. The other day, Lisa and I went to this big state park called the Ring of Fire, north of Las Vegas. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but it's amazing. It's kind of like Bryce Canyon. It's kind of like Red Rock Canyon, and these fantastic orange rocks. And anyway, we go in there and we're super psyched because we qualify for the senior annual pass. And an annual pass is like $100, but if it's $30 if you're a senior, maybe they think you'll die before you can use it enough. I don't know. I don't know.
You get
but
to
anyway,
you get to bury there, right? If you drop there, they can just cover you with stones. And
yeah, I don't know if we have bears. I think it's rattlesnakes and coyotes and buzzards.
Buried there.
Oh, buried. Oh, Las Vegas mafia reference. Yeah,
yeah.
A hit in the park. Anyway, so we go in there and we pay for our pass, $30. And when you're a senior, that's like the coolest thing. Like, I got this card that'll get me into any national park for life. And we bought this. And Lisa says, "This is good for both of us, right?" And the lady goes, "Well, technically, it says your name on it. You can hang it on your mirror, but technically you should have 2. And for the rest of the day, I was like, oh, if I go back, I have to just buy another pass. I can't. Like, I'm getting too close to being at the pearly gates. I can't go up there and go, you stole. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. You traded all for $30. Was it a good deal? Yeah,
There
enjoy your
are-
Ring of Fire.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. But actually, I have silly thoughts like that. And then so when Joe said, I don't know, I teach a high school, we can have all this F words. I thought, well, freedom of speech versus being nice to people.
Well,
Being
I
nice
think
to
the best part of freedom of speech is the freedom to not have to throw F-bombs around too, you know?
Yeah, we didn't do it for 25 years, so I don't see any reason that we seem to get along just fine without. I don't
Yeah.
swear as a practice. Like I was telling Bob before, only when I hurt myself do I swear, and I if I could control that, I would. But for some reason, those are the words that come out first. I mean, that's just the way.
When the hammer hits the thumb. Tim Hunter has a question. All right, if you want to ask us questions, Dave, just post questions. But I love hearing from everybody. Tim says, "Do you make anything for this, or is it a passion project?"
It's neither.
It's
Yeah.
Joe,
Sorry.
how much you getting today?
Nothing. It cost me a little because I had to drive in from school. Usually I'm at school, but it's midwinter break, and I could do this from home. But I've got a nice setup here. I've got a decent camera, decent microphone, so I'm not getting anything unless it's something. Unless I don't know about it. Is there something in it? Is in this for us here?
We do have a Patreon account. You can go to Bob Rivers, patreon.com/Bob Rivers and contribute a little bit if you want. But really, mostly what I make by doing this is bills, web hosting. Actually, the web hosting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Google. I'm paying Google. Facebook wants to charge me to rent back the audience that we brought to them over the years. StreamYard is amazing. This is a television studio inside of a web browser, but it's an annual subscription. Clean Feed's a subscription. There's just all these like things and stuff, but it's small potatoes. So no, no one's getting a paycheck yet. Now, if I sell enough maple syrup.
Yeah, I'm excited. Now, are you back there? Or you're heading back there like soon, right?
Yes, we took a couple hikes the last couple days, and we're flying to Vermont. Turns out the people who bought the farm from us wanted to keep the tradition of maple syrup going, and I'm surprised by my decent health, and said, you know what? Hank, you want to make maple syrup? And so it's a vacation for a month. Next visit will come from a sugar house. Now, we do have a special guest standing by. And I'm loving this. I think we should give her a warm welcome. But I don't know how long she has because she's very. All right, I got to ask her first. Kaci, welcome. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Hello, Kaci.
Hey.
Tell me you're not driving.
No,
Yeah.
Do you have a few minutes? Can I play a little intro to bring you down memory lane?
I'm in the daycare parking lot. You might see a Pikachu in the car seat behind me.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Here's Kaci, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, mama said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you grow. Child, the way you shake that thing, gonna make you burn, gonna make you stay. Hey, baby, when you walk that way, watch your honey drip, can't keep away.
Okay, that's enough, isn't it?
We couldn't find Joe doing that.
On.
We couldn't find Joe doing that. Come on.
Hang on a second.
Nobody
You
wants to see or hear that.
said-
Casey, can we get that pumped into the daycare where they have your kids right now and let them see
What
that?
the hell was I doing in that
What-
clip?
Whatever you wanted.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, that is embarrassing. Oh,
Wait a minute.
That's rocking. Come on. That was
Oh.
awesome.
It is. It was interesting as I like, well, what can I play to for memories that we have in video, and I thought she's going to be talking to us as a soccer mom in front of daycare with a Pikachu in the back seat, and
We got a
You know-
Pikachu is what we got. Yeah.
can I tell you a funny story about that? Is
Please
that
do, yeah.
they my kids they hate me singing. So if I sing along with any song, they'll say, "Don't sing, don't sing." And I can't tell you how many times I have said, "Young ladies, your mother used to sing for hundreds of people at casinos all over the area.
thousands.
Thousands."
Yes. Do you know? I'm going to tell you something. There was one year that Spike and the Impalers played, and I added up. And you were awesome, Casey. I mean, seriously, it's freaking amazing, and what a wonderful thing to, reflect back on. And
It was so
If-
fun.
if
Yeah.
I had ever had abs, I would want them on
Mhm.
video. Most of us have never even had more than a one pack. Much
A
less a-
reminder
Yeah,
of what
yeah.
once was. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. No, you're still a hot mom. Anyway, so but back then, there was 1 year at the peak of Spike and the Impalers' popularity, where we were playing to sold out shows, 2,000 plus people at what was it? The one in Emerald Queen,
Yep.
twice a year. Tulalip sold out 2,500 people in the summer. Snoqualmie 3 or 4 times a year. Indian Creek, a whole bunch of different casinos, and I added them up one year, and I thought about putting this on a poster. We played in front of more people that year than Pearl Jam did in Seattle.
They took a year off. That's
Yeah.
why, yeah.
No, they
I was
didn't.
like,
They
"Are they
actually
dead?"
played. They played at the Key Arena in a couple of places, but you know what I mean. It was a thrill, and to be surrounded by such talent. You're so good. Do you still sing at all
In my car, yes, all the time.
when the kids tell you to stop?
I don't care. They tell me to stop, and I'm like, I'm in charge. And then they cry anyway, and I stop.
Hmm.
But yeah,
So
I
how are-
do miss performing though. So not
Hmm.
not recently.
Yeah. Well, you could still, there's clubs, there's bars, there's like John can watch the kids.
We play a lot. The Impalers have about a half dozen gigs already this summer, and we're adding more. And I got to tell you, I'm asked about you three. It never fails, no matter where we're playing. I'm asked about all three of you.
Not that you need it, but I would be happy to come sing anytime.
Save the tape, Bob. Save
Okay.
this tape.
That would be great.
I'd be happy to come and not sing. I mean, that would be,
It's simply cowbell.
yeah, I'd
You could
bring the
bang on a piece of
cowbell.
metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd do that.
And I think my playing days are over because, I used to ride the short bus to musician school and really try hard to memorize parts. But who knows? You never know. It could happen if it was for a
We
good
can bring
call.
2 cowbells. You can play that.
Yeah, I think the Triangle has been making a huge comeback. If you saw the Super Bowl, I think I could handle
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, since we have you as our special guest, this is sort of a first. We can't do this all the time. Everybody's busy. Everybody has to work except me. But this is sort of our first time with a reunion live stream. How are you, Casey? Everyone wants to know, what are you up to? How are you and John? You have 2 beautiful kids now. Tell us a little bit for the people that haven't seen you since Q13. Say a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I feel like I'm unworthy of such a beautiful question. My goodness. We're good. I'm living in the suburbs, which I swore I would never do, but I love it. And I'm working full time for Valve, which is a gaming company located in Bellevue, and working on communications and marketing which has been like a real challenge, but in a good way, and traveling with them a lot, which is good. Oh, I've become a puzzler.
You were
Like
always
doing
a puzzler. Yeah.
Puzzling.
What-
You're puzzling. Yeah.
You're always puzzling. Complicated. What do you mean a puzzler? And by the way, what is Valve?
Valve. So we make video games, PC games, to be specific, and we run the Steam gaming platform, which is a platform for lots and lots of PC games from different companies. So it's the same company that I used to work for once a year as a host for a gaming tournament. So I just came on board full time, and it was hard to transition away from TV at first because I'm used to people giving me feedback, good and bad, as I'm talking. So I would do something and I'd be like, how was that? Anyone feel it?
No. Oh, I hate that. Like when you don't get any feedback from your teammates or anything. Yeah. Oh, totally. Because I don't know if you're like me, but the voices inside your head are always full of self-doubt, right?
Oh, yes. Constant. Absolute. But I will say, my oldest, Scarlett, who is 5, it's a bit like parenting a 5-year-old version of myself, which is just as beautiful and frustrating as it sounds.
Yeah. The kids are your parents' revenge, right?
Oh, yes. They remind me of that all the time.
Yeah, they do. Well, you have smart parents. And so when you think back on working with these characters and me, if you ever do, what are your thoughts and perspective now, to what we had, what the entertainment was, and where it fit in your evolution? Because you had a multifaceted multimedia career, and you're still sort of in it.
It's funny. I actually do think about it a lot. I think about it a lot in a general sense because it shaped so much of who I am now. Like that was the biggest chunk of my 20s. I wish I would have had more fun. I wish I would have gone out more. But because
sorry about the 4 a.m. alarm clock. Yeah.
I know. That's the thing. Like I look back on that time and I'm just so grateful that I was able to do something of that magnitude at that age. Like, it's just insane that you trusted me to join the team. And I just have so many memories of, like, somebody rang a bell recently and I felt like a dog. I was like, did somebody say something funny? And I remembered that
I still have it, but hold on a second. You know what I spaced out, because when you said I work for Valve, I would have go Plugola. There's Valve. Yeah.
I have a very vivid memory of that. I have very vivid memories of making eye contact with you when I had something to say. I was in a separate studio because that's where you kept the women. No, I'm kidding. Because that's where we did the news. And I could see Bob and Spike. I could see your faces, but I couldn't see Joe because he was behind the partition. So I would try to time what I had to say without stepping over people. And I would wait to see his hand. Sometimes Joe's hand would go up, and sometimes I would hear the faintest sound of, well, and I would think, oh, gotta wait. He's got something.
Joe's about to talk. Yeah. Joe, what do you say to that?
Well, it's interesting. I never thought of that, but we weren't in that studio. We weren't very ergonomically set up. I never even thought about
Kaci,
that.
okay, and we had everybody scattered in different production booths and newsrooms. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So and that makes you, I think, better broadcaster in a way. I mean, this is great to be able to see you guys and everything. It's wonderful, but you got to use your ears a lot more if you don't have the visual. So that's what I tell my kids, at least, because they're not always set up perfectly either. They got great equipment, but sometimes they're in different rooms. So
Yeah. It's interesting. The different. Yeah. Whoops. There's a little echo going on. That might be coming. Can you all hear that?
Yeah.
All right.
no,
It's kicking in now, Bob. Just let it go. Go with it.
All right.
Go with the drugs.
Oh, I something.
Now that I have a medical card, you mean? Yeah. No, it's an echo cancellation thing I put on Joe's microphone because he doesn't have mix minus, which is totally behind the scenes technical stuff. So isn't this amazing, by the way, that we can be at 4 different places in a television sort of a thing? But this is your domain, Casey, more than ours, the whole television thing. Can you talk about the difference between and just TV, like when you went to TV? By the way, we were sort of devastated when you quit because you said you never wanted to get up in the morning again and you wanted to concentrate on your boyfriend. And I totally was happy for him. And then you got up at 3 in the morning. What's that?
He was my
What's that?
fiance.
Oh, right. Well, we've known you ever since you had boyfriends.
Yes. I do remember that.
I even remember a certain Polynesian boyfriend.
I know. I was like, don't bring it up. Because
Okay, I won't.
Horrifically, I'm not even going to. Yes, Spike had a sound effect too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was the sound effect for him? Do you remember?
We're not going there. Out of respect.
Out of respect. Well, and see, and we're not swearing out of respect for Joe. We're all mature. We're matured a bit. And you know, back to TV. You went from radio. First you said, I'm not going to get up in the morning. And then they said, all of a sudden you're Mary Tyler Moore. You're on Q13. You're, really, you were super popular. Everybody, you were so charming and warm, and you have these cool facial expressions. And I especially love the thing where you went viral drawing the cannon. It was fantastic.
That was where it all ended for her, Bob. Way to bring that up.
Yeah. No, she survived. Are you kidding? That stuff is. You went viral.
In my car, Bob. Can't you see?
Oops. I know. When the kids get here, we're going to have to bring it back to Mary Poppins. Anyway, what was it like going to TV from radio, and or did you not think about it?
I didn't think about it because it took so long to convince somebody to just like watch a tape of mine. I left thinking I'm never doing media again unless it's TV. And I also said I would never do news. And so the opportunity came up to do features, and they did not have a job for me. They just said, go out and like do fun stuff. And so radio was the only reason I was able to have any context for how to tell stories that way. Like, you have to be genuine when you are on the radio, more so than when you're on TV, because your voice is everything. Listening is everything. You have to really describe things in a way that you don't have to when there's a visual cue. And you have to learn to connect with people. And so I was able to kind of use that, I think, to my benefit in what I applied to TV. The problem is that people now see you. And I didn't like that. I loved it.
You loved it, but you were out at the grocery store, and did you see people go, that's Casey over there?
I will say sometimes, but I always got it wrong. I would see somebody and we would both do the "you look familiar" thing. And the one time I said, oh, it must be because I'm on television. They were like, no, I think we went to high school together.
Right.
So I learned
by the way, a funny, ironic thing is we're almost back at KCOK now, and all 4 of us are in separate rooms. So Joe, if you want to, if either of you have a question, you could like raise your hand, or you could do a little of the Joe. Yeah.
We're getting questions from the audience. Patty is asking if Casey would ever consider going back to TV or radio.
I would. I think I would do it on an occasional basis. I think you guys probably feel the same way. Like, there is something very special about being able to connect with a wider audience of people in a way that is kind of a shared experience. Like, there's just something magical about that. And I miss that. I miss being able to share parts of my life, knowing that there were people who hopefully benefited from my stupidity, or benefited or felt less alone because we were being vulnerable about something or sharing something that you don't usually get to hear about. So I definitely miss that. I don't miss news, but I do miss doing stories on TV, and I miss the aspect of radio that was kind of the little family that we created, or that you created and allowed me to be a part of, I should say.
Well. By the way, I do miss news, as in I try not to watch it at all. I try to miss
Same.
every bit of news. Yeah,
Same.
it's just, well, there's very little I can do about it. And to what you were saying, and I'd like Spike to comment on it too, there's something about an improv conversation between a group of people who are like a family. And I don't mean, family as in related family, but just like the Seinfeld show, or like so many situational comedies used to have, where you get to know all the characters. They don't surprise. I mean, if there's a surprise right now, we are 31 minutes into this, and Joe has not taken a bite to eat. Remember how always
He's got a can in his hand.
Yeah, I've got a can of soda water.
Oh, you have. Wait a minute. Did I miss it?
Well, no, I
But
have not. The thought is not lost on me. I forgot to bring any fortification into the studio with me.
But I mean,
I could
if
duck
this were,
out, I might have a protein bar.
if
I've been
this were
trying to-
situational comedy, and it'd be like Seinfeld, and I'm like, Elaine is not dancing yet. What's happening? Because I always loved that about you. You graze.
Oh yeah, I know most of it was reasonably healthy. I mean, fruit and stuff. Of course, when the top pike guy comes by with the, bacon maple donuts on Elvis's birthday, you certainly are polite, and you certainly are going to eat a few of those.
Absolutely.
But
Also, you
mostly I
can't turn
brought
down
healthy
free food. Yeah.
Yeah, and teaching it, by the way, you think radio is bad for your diet. Teaching may be worse. They love to feed teachers, especially the beginning of the year when you take the kids, the parents, they have a big meal. It's like, thank you, taking my kids. We'll feed you all day long, and you get gift certificates for food. You get, the Black Student Union had their Black History Month dinner. And kudos to the kid who did the ordering. I don't know how he bought baked beans in the gallons. I mean, there was 5 gallons of beans left after this thing, and I've been eating those a lot. I won't get
beans are good for you. They have a lot of fiber. Yeah.
Oh, they do. Yeah. So there's a lot of good eating to be done. I'm flying to New York tomorrow morning. I've got a reservation at Carmine's. We're going to Junior's tomorrow night. And by the way, if anybody knows a good place in Manhattan, I got a room for one more meal to book, but we're going to do some good eating this week for sure.
Oh, you're doing that high school radio convention thing, the high school college radio thing.
The Intercollegiate Broadcasting Conference. We're nominated for 48 awards, and
oh my gosh,
I know it's kind of that's almost too many. It's like, because then people go, what kind of awards are these? I mean, 48, that's a little out of hand, and maybe it is. But
best use of a comma in a sentence. They got you up for that one again.
Yeah, they're pretty specific. We do have I'm up for best advisor, but I'm never won that ever. I'm the Susan Lucci of I've been nominated for that a few times in a few different spots, and so far I haven't won that. So
you should. So let's, Kaci, you had a brilliant career. Joe went on to do the most important thing of his life, I think. Although I think he brought a lot of joy to our audience over 2.5 decades. He's mentoring young broadcasters. I don't know if you've ever seen that thing that you're truly a great person when you plant a tree to create shade, and you won't be sitting under it, or one of those stupid meme things. That kind of thing. And Joe's doing that. His legacy will be a generation of kids that he taught his kind heart and his wonderful empowerment of them to express themselves. And he's just the greatest. Spike, on the other hand, no, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Well, he's on the biggest station in the Northwest talking,
of course he is. Yeah.
about the important issues every night.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of all of you guys.
It's good to see, isn't it? Yeah. Now Spike's story, how he got back on Cairo, right? Back on the radio on Cairo.
Yeah.
Say again.
Wait.
Kids are coming.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Daycare closed 5 minutes ago.
Mhm.
If I went and threw them in the car, could I dial back in, or is that too
Yeah,
much?
of course you can. Yeah, of course.
Okay, I have to go get them.
Don't
but I'll
drive.
call back.
Don't broadcast while you're driving. But we'd love
I'll
to see
stay
the
in the
kids.
parking lot. They can eat
Okay.
later. Okay,
You're
I'll
going to
be right
introduce
back.
your. Are they your kids, or are you taking other people's kids too?
Whoever comes with me without strings. I'll
Okay.
grab them.
Okay. We'd love to meet them.
Well,
All right, Kaci.
5 minutes late, you get the last two. Sorry.
Oh no, I gotta go.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
5
the
minutes late.
slowest kids.
All right, later, Kaci. There she goes. Okay. That's fun, huh?
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
great.
she looks the same. I mean, since I
Exactly the
haven't seen
same.
her in a few years, and she has not changed a bit.
No. Yes, Kevin. We all love her. I think we hit the jackpot with every single female co-host we had on the show. I could say news gal, but they were more than that. They were always like sisters. Like in Kaci, when she came on, she was much younger, so it was a little bit of a super younger sister thing, and then it just worked out incredibly well. Then Maura came back. Then Jody. I mean, how lucky can you get? All three great personalities. I'm in a really nice mood tonight. I'm very benevolent to everybody on our. Should I say something mean?
No.
Okay.
You got
Let's
the
connect
med
with.
style just right. It's great.
I'm not on anything at the moment, but let's connect a little with you, Spike. How are you doing? For people who haven't heard you just talk about yourself lately.
This is a phenomenal time, and I didn't think that was ever going to happen again. It was the last 4 or 5 years have been brutal on everybody in this country. I first off am not that isn't lost on me. Everybody's had a tough road, a lot more tougher than I've had. But I had my career pulled out from under me. Trying to reinvent yourself in your mid-50s and enter a workforce that is ageist on its best day. A time I tried to get back into the work world when white men had their day. And you know what I'm saying? It was seriously, it was no one was rushing out to help the older white guys. They'd had just enough of the American dream. It was time to spread that around a little bit. And I can respect that. But it made taking care of my family just about impossible to do. And I fashioned a position as a spokesperson for an effort to for natural gas. I was a spokesperson for natural gas, which Bob blew Bob away because I am a card carrying woke libtard foot soldier of freedom by most of the people who listen to my show. That's how they describe me. So for me to get there humping for natural gas was a bit of a shock for everybody. But that got me on as a guest on the Dory Monson show to talk about affordable energy. And that led to the powers that be at Cairo asked me if I wanted to do fill-in shows. And I jumped at the chance to be on the radio again. For 2 weeks, I sat with 7 different co-hosts over 3 different time slots.
You were baptized with, I mean, you were thrown in to 7 different shows. And I don't know, this is one of the things about you, and I am in a really nice mood tonight, so I'm just going to roll with it. This is one of the things, I don't know of any other radio person, Joe, do you, of anyone we've met at all the conventions, all the years of boot camps and radio conventions? Can you think of anyone else who could be thrown in with any show and be funny and survive or even want to do it?
Spike knows about a lot of stuff. He surprises me, especially listening to him on Cairo. It's like, how is he now? What's he going to say about this? You're actually pretty darn well read these days, I got to say. And
I appreciate that.
Spike can hang in with anybody in any conversation and will always be the funniest guy in the room. And maybe the second smartest, maybe the smartest, but always the funniest. And that's what I tell. Yeah, and that's what I tell my kids.
And by the way, second smartest is still pretty smart. There's 7 or 8 billion people.
I mean, he
on this planet.
He may be the smartest, but he'll definitely be the funniest. And and that gets you a long ways in broadcasting and in everything, I think.
Yeah.
I tell people I'm like the Lincoln Memorial reflection pond. I'm broad and long, but very shallow. So I look good, but don't dive in too deep. You'll hurt your head. So, but anyway, after a couple weeks as a fill-in at Cairo, they offered me a full-time job doing nights from 7 to 10, and I'm filling in next week. I'm filling in for the late Dory Monson, in
All
his
week?
show for all week long next week. So
And you're
and
doing
this
this with
Thursday
a
and
co-host,
Friday.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Nice kid named Jack Stein who lives down in California. He's a recovering addict conservative. So those are rare. You know, he still has his
Are you
conservative
saying most
bona fides.
conservatives just keep drinking all the way to the grave? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes, exactly.
Right.
No, most people who deal, I don't know. I mean, I'm stereotyping, and I don't mean I
Yeah.
hate when I do that. But most people who have been through addiction, that don't lean conservative, I think they tend to lean more on the liberal side of life, the second chance side of life. And I don't know if that's a real true conservative point of
It's
view.
prejudice. You're doing it. I do it all the
Yeah,
time too. I mean,
I
I
do.
I have a friend who's a gay ultra right winger, and I am like, and I don't want to say too much about him, but I'm like, they don't like broad groups of people who don't kowtow to, but there's different groups within every group that
Yeah,
don't fit the
yep,
mold. And
yep.
we are not trained to think that. We're trained to think that, you're trained by one kind of media to think that the others are all like this, and they're trained to think you're all open borders and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
defund the police. I've never wanted to defund anybody, actually. I'd like to refund us. Oh, look who's back. There she is.
Yep.
Oh, it's dark now.
Oh, it is?
And our listener or texter says, "Hey, you said no politics." I wasn't talking politics. I really wasn't. I was
No,
describing my
I
co-host,
actually veered into
not
there. You're
passing
right.
judgment on his
Yeah.
points of view in any way, shape, or
And by the
form.
way, we
Yeah.
did really good, by the way, because there's been no politics.
Oh, I lost.
And I realize we're only 75% old white guys right now, but that's still pretty good. All right, Casey, what are you up
We
to?
just lost Spike, but we got Casey back.
Okay, you have to drive them home now, right?
I do. Eventually, that's the gig. But this is Scarlett. Can you say
Hey,
hi?
Scarlett.
Can you say hello?
Aw.
And this is Quinn.
She's my little
Oh,
sister.
Quinn.
Speak up.
Oh.
Speak up.
And that's Pikachu.
Yes, that's Hobbs.
All right. That's so cute. Oh, so nice of you to
Scarlett,
share that with us.
I used to work with them on the radio. Do you
Yes.
know what the radio is?
The radio is cupcakes.
Sure.
The radio is cupcakes. Sure.
It's your
Scarlett,
Mentorship right here.
can I ask Scarlett something?
Oh, yeah.
Scarlett?
Scarlett has a question for you.
Do you know that your mommy used to sing on stage with a big rock band, and she's an awesome singer? Do you know that?
I don't know if I do or not.
No.
I
She's
remember
awesome.
watching her singing on stage.
You did?
Mm.
Yeah.
Where was I?
I saw you.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm skiing that slide.
Yeah, Scarlett went skiing.
I went skiing yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure this is riveting for your.
Are you kidding?
This is the best part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Joe, you are doing the most important work of your life right now. This
Yep.
is
Oh my
wonderful.
God.
No.
They're amazing. You guys are good kids.
Yeah.
Except for you're showing us Pika's butt. Okay. Well, I wish I
hey,
had
no
more
cussing
time.
on the show. We're gonna keep it clean.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Would you like some coffee?
Some what? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Eat my cup.
Great. I
Yes.
if you ever do this again and fancy a guest, please, I would love to join because I want to hear how you guys are doing.
All right. The plan is to do this once in a while, not so much that it becomes a block my number kind of a thing. But yes, we would love to have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey, let's hear it for her.
Hey,
Thank you guys
Casey.
so much.
Hi.
I miss you.
Hi. We miss you too.
Like, get out of here. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's a little Casey right there. That's
All right.
gonna-
All right. So let's try some topics and see if we can get out of politic land.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
old
yeah,
white
yeah. Of
guys.
course.
It's really hard. Joe, you had a couple things on your mind.
Well, last time we talked, I told you about the Chat GPT and we played with that. And I was saying I downloaded another app, and this is not anything to do with artificial intelligence. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that's downloaded this, because actually more people have downloaded this than Amazon or anything in the last couple of weeks. This is now the biggest shopping app in America. It passed Amazon and Walmart. You know what it is?
The Sears Robot Catalog.
It's
Long
called
millennium.
called Temu, Temu. Have you
I have
heard
no
of this?
idea what that is. No.
Okay, they had a Super Bowl commercial, and they ran actually 2 or 3, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I saw somebody mention something about it, so I downloaded it. And what it is buying the cheapest stuff you can imagine, and I mean cheap. I just bought an ear and nose hair trimmer for $1.79, electric one. I mean, that's pretty good.
So this
I
is a
got an
job
ear-
you don't want to do with a high precision instrument. You don't need much to do this.
Oh yeah, I got 12 pairs of socks coming for $7.99, and they look like good ones. So we'll see. But I've heard that Americans are reluctant to use this because they think it can't be any good because it's so cheap. Now
It's cheap. So it's shopping. Is it a shopping app? Just curious.
Yeah, it's called Temu, and it works just like Amazon or whatever, except this is the part that concerns me a little. You're basically buying direct from the Chinese, and this could be like TikTok or something, and I don't want to
Hold on a second. I do think. Do you remember the movie Young Frankenstein? Spike?
Yeah.
I think anytime someone says the Chinese, a horse should neigh in the background. Don't you think?
Like Frau Blucher.
or maybe something else. But I mean,
we need a gong, but that's so racist. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
All right, we're not going to talk politics, but when you said the Chinese, you sounded like you have been indoctrinated by recent media PR narratives to think that the place that makes most of our crap and has empowered our world with cheap smartphones and everything else is making you feel guilty. So without veering into politics, do you feel guilty from buying from the Chinese?
Oh, I don't feel guilty. I'm just concerned putting something on my phone. It's like they may be getting me, and I don't want to, we talked about this a little. I don't look at the Chinese as enemies or anything, but they're luring me in to putting something on my phone with a $1.79 nose hair trimmer, but who knows what else that app may be doing in the background.
We will lure them in with cheap nose hair trimmers.
Yeah.
Once we have them.
I can show you right here. Here's an AC/DC shirt. I don't know if you can see this.
I've seen that beautifully. Yeah.
Shirt.
Yeah. Beavis
How
and
much
Butthead.
did you pay for that AC/DC shirt? Nice black t-shirt.
On a Chinese app, or on a cruise ship, or at the airport, it would be $40. In a cheap port in Mexico, when you're on vacation at Cabo, it would be what, 2 for $10? And how much is it on that app?
$5.78. So, no, I don't know if Angus Young is getting.
Casey reminded me about the bell. I totally forgot about the bell.
Yeah.
How much, Joe? $5? Yeah.
And 78 cents, $5.78. And it's just delivered right to your door, free shipping, everything. So that's the price out the door. So I haven't received anything yet. I'll let you know how the stuff is, but I wound up, and they get you because I didn't really want anything, but then I saw the nose hair trimmer. It's like, for that price, I got to try that. And then, one thing led to another. And basically it's buying all the little junk we buy already, but you're going straight to the factories. You're cutting out the middlemen. So other countries, they're used to paying this stuff. And by the way, contraband. I mean, not that I'm needing that stuff, but you want a nice big bong or something? I mean, they got all that stuff here for a lot cheaper than you would get it in a store. So I'm curious.
I'm curious about something too. How is it that you have gotten this far in life with as much hair as you have springing out of everywhere except the top of your head, and you don't already have a nose hair trimmer?
Well, I've got the manual version. I mean, I I've got scissors. I do,
You do it with
try my
scissors?
best, but I've
Yeah.
had some miscalculations and it does hurt. I mean, when you get a bad one. And then on my ears, not to get too graphic, but I just shave the back of my ears,
No kidding. Okay,
and,
you've never had a nose
yeah.
hair trimmer in your life?
No, but I've never had the, a legit, powered one. I think my wife might have bought
You
me
still
one.
don't, by the way.
But we'll see. I mean, because everything
Did they-
I'm hearing about is,
Did they send you a tracking number, Joe?
yeah. In fact, they just they're shipping some stuff is not going to be shipped early March, like clothing, because it's like the spring fashions, I guess, and they're still manufacturing them. But
Yeah, the AC/DC shirts, part of their spring line.
It's legit.
Custom made to order nose trimmers. We don't start your nose trimmer until the order comes in.
Oh yeah.
Send us a clay image of your nose, and we'll make it to fit. Yeah.
Well, the person I heard from said about 90% of the stuff is really good, and I figure, I'm ordering $100 worth of stuff, and if 90% of it is good, I mean, I'm getting a ton of stuff. I don't even know what all I want to. I got I've always wanted to be able to wash my back a little better. I got a back washer coming, like a scrub brush for my back. I don't know why it became like, maintenance tools for my body, but that's kind of the category I got in, and I started ordering.
We're all in that boat. All right, say the name of the website or the app one more time, Joe.
It's Temu, TEMU, and it's, I mean, they say it's past Amazon just from their Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see if anybody else is using this stuff.
I saw that news story today, Joe. It has passed Amazon.
And you did describe the business model of creating a new app or a new a new anything these days, which is you have to come in and you have to get market share super fast by offering an incredible value before someone else can match that value. And then once you have everybody, as Amazon knows, you raise the price and you make a margin. So initially, your theory that they're sucking you in, of course, a new company is doing that. The fact that it's Chinese, this puzzles me. I really don't think that a nose hair trimmer could be sent from China for $5 or whatever, the shirt for $5. They must be already sitting in a warehouse in New Jersey, but to make you think you're getting a great deal, maybe they claim. I mean, everything is made in China, isn't it? I mean, the shirts we're all wearing, Bangladesh, China, or clothing, none of it's made here, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing is just about everything on this app is probably manufactured in China or somewhere close by. And I don't know. I mean, maybe, $1.79 for a nose hair trimmer. Maybe there is a little spy cam in there or something. Maybe they're in my house. I don't know. But I mean, I have general trust. I mean, I'm not too worried about that part, but I guess I going back to like the days of the lead-based paint on toys and stuff. I don't know if I would buy a lot of things from my kids, but I'm at this age, what's a little.
Your nose hair trimming risk was already high based on your scissors. So
it can't be any worse.
Only improve. All right.
Yeah.
As we
don't smoke out of a Chinese bong. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I just was curious when they started popping up. I was surprised they offered those for cheap.
We're all gonna secretly download the app later. What's it called?
Yeah, there's Temu.
TMU.
Yeah, and I could search. I mean, if there's something specific you're looking for. Now, there's things they don't have, like things that you would buy in bulk for. They didn't seem to have great deals on some, some things, but little gadgets, they've got lots of stuff.
That's because you can fit zillions of those on a shipping container.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you could still smuggle families in.
Oh, dude. That's why it's not coming till March. They have to finish loading the container with families.
That's right. Okay, Joe. It's impossible for us not to say something political, but by not veering into politics, I think we're doing a great job so far. China. Okay.
Mm.
Spike, how are you today? And what's a topic on your mind that's not
Hmm.
political, personal, or just
You know,
interesting?
we had a story last night that I kind of chewed on for a while about a girl who's was using social media as her diary, her TikTok diary, and the girl was dealing with anxiety and self-doubt, as all kids these days are. Joe, you know better than anybody. It's been a
Oh
rough
yeah.
road. It's been a rough road for teenagers the last few years. You lose the social element of your life by not being able to actually go to school. We're all tuned into the social media more, but no more so than kids. This kid was experiencing, anxiety, self-doubt. She thought she may be bipolar, and she expressed all this on her TikTok page. And there are numerous studies that say kids use social media as a support system, and it does a lot of good to hear other kids your age saying, "Hey, I go through it too. I felt that way myself." That you're not alone mentality is really beneficial from social media. But of course, there are downsides. This kid was applying to college and trying out for a sports team, and the coaching staff saw her TikTok feed and said, "You're too depressing for our team." They decided to pull her scholarship because her social media platform, her video diary on TikTok, confessed to how she felt unsure a lot of times. She was too dark and too depressing to be on their team, and they pulled her scholarship. And I kind of went a little off last night because first off, I said the poor kid was brave enough to put herself out there.
Hmm.
And to me, coaching is so much more than putting a team on the field. It's about shepherding young people up to through the development ages of their life, teaching them these different skills and different values about teamwork and perseverance and commitment and blah blah blah, blah all the things that you need to be successful in anything in life. And I was just saying last night as I was talking about the story, probably the greatest thing the coaching staff that bailed on her, greatest thing they ever did was bail on her. Because if how do you not see a kid who's crying for help in social media, who's got genuine athletic skill, and how do you not, as a coach, say, you know what, come join this family. We'll make sure you feel supported. We'll make sure that you're not alone. What an opportunity missed by this coaching staff. And the fact that they passed on this girl was probably the greatest gift they ever could have given her. And it was a story in the Washington Post. And I was saying, I hope that wherever, and the kid didn't say what school she ended up going to, and she didn't name the school that pulled their scholarship. She didn't want it to come back to bite her. I was just saying, wishing her the best in the future, and hopefully she found a coaching staff that was supportive and would step up and help her when she needed help. I just, but I bring all this up because we're lucky. We grew up at a time where all of our stupidity just was evaporated into the wind. It wasn't captured forever and ever.
Well, we weren't living our lives as performance art. It's even more than it's so much depth to this story, Spike. I'm glad you brought it up. And by the way, your skills at narrative and telling the story and setting it up, it's as if you've been practicing. You're so good at this now.
Well, I sat next to the best guy ever for a long, long time. Watched.
Oh, no.
Seriously, no, dude.
So many angles to that story, and you didn't once say that she got canceled, but she did get canceled without, I know that's a buzzword. But the other aspect of this story, because you cannot put the toothpaste back into the tube, you can't put the genie back into the bottle. If you're a child growing up in this time, your life is part performance art from the moment you get this device. And, there's a couple of aspects to this, like at what age should someone have a device? How do you keep them from getting too far into it? And then once they're in high school, how old is this girl? She was applying.
She was applying for college.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was college,
Okay.
high school senior age.
So
what was the sport?
It was I think water polo or water skiing, or so. It was a water sport.
Okay. So you can't, it's sort of like you can't lock your daughter up until her wedding night. You can't lock kids up away from a smartphone all the way to
Right.
college. So the challenge these days, mentoring, raising kids, or even just being a decent human being amongst other human beings, the challenge is to be somehow supportive in a way that society has not figured out how to handle yet. I mean, we know that social media and bullying therein cause suicides and all kinds of serious problems. And we know that it's not a fair, like Spike said, we had the right to be forgotten. Oh,
Yeah.
when
The,
we were
the
growing up.
luxury,
The
the luxury
luxury.
of, yeah.
Even there are things that are still in my permanent record at Branford High School somewhere, but you cannot search them with a search engine.
Yeah. There's no
Uh,
YouTube channel of the stuff we do.
yeah. So I guess a part of me feels like somehow it's unfair, but somehow in high school you have to learn that you are media, whether you want to be or not, and that whatever you choose to say or do publicly may have consequences. And I wish it wasn't so, because you should, the innocence is, being taken away earlier and earlier. But you seem to be positive about this girl. She's going to do okay. That this was
Well,
the story was a human interest story, that she's okay in spite of it.
Well,
that they did her a favor.
I think because she hopefully landed at a school with a coaching staff that knows their job is so much bigger than winning a competition. And I'll not sidebar real quick, but Dory Monson, who I disagreed with on most of the things that he spoke to on the radio,
Politically,
from the guy,
would you say other than politically, he was, because we're not talking about politics today. He's one of the sweetest men I know.
That was what I was about to say. He was a coach. He was a high school basketball coach. He was a basketball coach at every level of his three daughters' lives. And he got it. He got the value of what coaches did for young people. It was a brilliant example of how important it is to have a mentor in the way of a sports coach. And that this school that pulled her ride, they don't deserve to be coaches.
No.
People that, you're too depressing for our team.
Let's lynch them on social media, shall we?
I'd cancel them till the day is done, man. I really would. That's, that kind of coaching is bad gives coaching a bad name.
If it's water polo though, and she's the goalie, you don't want somebody all bummed out. It's like, oh, go ahead and score. What do I care? I mean, you want somebody fired up,
Yeah, I haven't seen her posts, but the general, and again, here's another thought: college is different. College is different from
middle school, high school. Yeah, it is.
College sports are more brutal, and if you aren't right for the team, you're not entitled to be on the team. So
that's a fair side of this whole thing. I think what I drew from last night's story was that it's out there forever. Okay. The stuff you post in social media. I've always told my girls, if you don't want it on a billboard across the street from your mom's house, don't put it on your phone, because that's about the same expectation of privacy. The boy you're sending that picture to is going to show it to all his friends.
I'm going to do a quick thing now. Joe, if you had a comment, go ahead, get it in. And then
I'll just tell you, I know a little about college admissions, and it's not the essays, it's not your grade point average, it's not the letters of recommendation, it's not your SAT scores. You know how colleges are deciding who they take nowadays? Artificial intelligence. They're scraping the web. See, so when you apply for a college, I write letters of recommendation. I just got one. A kid needs one for Syracuse before midnight tonight. Great planning there, Dylan. But I'll still get it for you. But that's not what gets you into college. They will go out and they will scrape the web for both the good and the bad. And
companies will do that too for hiring.
Yeah. And the reason that a lot of people get into colleges is the good things they do. They're Googleable. If you win the New York Times podcast, that's Googleable. But if you also have a public social media page that is not, password protected, that is also very Googleable, and they will check all that out. So think about that when you're going for college admissions. It's way beyond just the stuff you're putting on paper. It's way beyond the grades. It's the
We used
robots
to we
going
used to
out
just
there.
get plastered and pass out wherever we want without having to think about it being a media
Right,
event.
being posted
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. I want to. Our reluctant webmaster is going to say hi for just a second. Hey, Dave. How are
What's
you?
up? Hey.
Dave's behind the scenes. Do we have a test we're going to try putting a listener on for the first time ever?
He's in the green room there. I just posted the link in the comments to see if it'd work.
Okay. What's his?
We have John on deck there.
All right. So you put out the link and John responded.
Yeah.
We've never done this before. It's the equivalent of taking an unscreened phone caller on the radio. We used to have a 7-second delay, but it's the internet. I mean, when you think of all the stuff that could be routinely found on the internet.
John's going to bring it to us now. Let's go.
Yeah, here's John. John, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, Bob?
Oh, good. Yes,
very
tilt
happy
your
to see
camera a
you
little bit. See, no one is a TV producer. Get your head right in the middle. There you go. Okay, wonderful.
I was slouching.
Yeah. So, John, tell us a little about yourself. John, where are you calling from?
Maple Valley, Washington. Listened to you guys forever through multiple stations and all that, and I'm very happy to see you guys out here. I'm curious, are you guys planning on making this a regular thing? I'd love to. I know you guys don't want to do a daily thing anymore, but could you pop up once a month or catch up on current events?
You know, there's a price at which anything becomes possible. Just kidding. I'd love it if these guys want to do that occasionally. I'll let them speak for themselves. But an occasional, Joe's an educator who is going to bring this technology to his students. I know that I know how Joe is, and he's working constantly. I mean, he's thinking now about what he's learning and how he can pass it on to his young people. Right, Joe?
Exactly. But I love this. I would love to get together with you and Spike as often as practical. And I know Spike's got a full time. He's got to be on the radio every night pretty soon, actually. So, you're getting share and I'm getting.
And the thing about Spike, have you heard him on Cairo yet?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, we should give a plug, because the thing about Spike, which he alluded to earlier, is that he started as the swing man filling in on every shift, worked with 7 different co-hosts. Then they gave him nights, and now he's still the swing shift filling guy on every shift. And now, because of the sad loss of our friend Dory and lots of other normal vacations and things, Spike is on often multiple shifts a day. So when I look
tomorrow
at these guys,
tomorrow I'm on 9 to 12 and 7 to 10. Thursday and Friday, and all next week I'm on 12 to 3 and 7 to 10.
Man.
Yeah. So I would actually come on every day because I'm just lonely and retired. But and Casey alluded to this earlier, I could never have been one of those blowhard all by myself hosts, because I would have pulled myself off. I would have given myself the hook on the Gong Show, because I don't think I have anything useful to say monologuing. But I find the interplay in an improv conversation to dig out information and look for funny angles. That's what I missed. And I would do it as much as I could get these guys to visit. And the unsung hero up there is Dave, our webmaster, who's really an executive producer who gets all this technology working. He has the coolest set of all of us. Look at that.
He's got the office with a view of the Space Needle. That's pretty
yes,
great.
yes.
It's amazing.
And so the answer to your question is that, yes, of course, Greg. Is this you, Greg? Yes.
No, Greg's in the text. John's on the bottom. John's on the bottom. Yeah.
Okay, I lost everybody's name. Who's that guy? Is that Joe? Is that Spike? I don't see everybody's name anymore. That's a little behind the scenes secret of the show. I have the attention span of a gnat, and Joe had to prepare everybody. Well, no, I suppose not. I can't remember anything. It was or some guy named Leonard who was on Star Trek we're talking to. It's just crazy. Anyway, John, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Good job.
It's good to have you on. This experiment worked well. Any other question?
No, not really. I'm just really happy to see you back. Your team is a legend in Seattle broadcasting, and I don't think people say it enough. So thanks for being back.
Cheers to
And
John.
Thanks, John. That's kind of you,
Maple
man.
Valley,
Thank you, John.
has a special place in my heart. That's where I got
right.
married, is in Maple Valley. So,
Yep.
Most
good
excellent.
town.
All right.
Right next to
And
the
he's
liquor
ordered,
and gun store. Yeah.
yeah. And if there were cheaper nose hair trimmers that were manufactured in Maple Valley, he would certainly buy them. But I don't think they can.
Ear
compete.
and nose. This is dual purpose. So I'm excited about that.
All right, I'm not gonna keep us here much longer. Someone asked, "How is Lisa doing?" And her and I are just. I'll close on this. We are absolutely loving Las Vegas, like beyond our wildest dreams. The why? I mean, even when I first thought of moving here to be closer to our grandkids, to be on the West Coast, and to live in a smaller place in a 55 plus community and have less to take care of, and, in case anything went badly with my health as it could have. Even when I thought about all that, I was like, are you sure Vegas? But what it turned out to be is every day now I go hiking in the Sloan Canyon Preserve on these little mountaintops. Lisa and I go out to concerts. We see the best shows. And there's nothing to take care of here. I have this is my world, this little 9x11 room where, nostalgia and friends and staying connected. And, also people fly into Vegas all the time. And if you're in Vegas and you hit me up, I'll at least say hi to you, I promise. But I can't have dinner with everybody. But it's been tremendous. And Lisa, I think, is surprised. Because she hates everything I do at first.
But
you know what I mean?
She warms up to it.
It's my fault. Whatever goes wrong. Yeah.
I think that's a good wife, though. That's mine too. I mean, no is going to be the first word, anything you say. But then if you can work them a little bit and
win her over,
win her over or wear her down, whichever way you want to say it, and then sometimes they'll begrudgingly admit maybe that wasn't such a bad idea.
Yeah, and she's more than that. She's thrilled. And this Saturday, I get to hop on an airplane and go back to Vermont and make maple syrup for a month. So the next time we do this, any of us, where it's Bob and Zip with Ed Kelly, and you guys guesting, or just the three of us, I'm going to be in the maple syrup evaporator room. And I know the lighting won't be as good. I have no idea how it's gonna work, but still experimenting with this technology and realizing that you can do all of this, just in a browser. It's fantastic. And
you're
tons
the
of
only person in
gratitude.
the world. You're the only person in the world with a sugar shack with high speed Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, it's gigabit
yeah.
fiber. Yeah, it's crazy. And there's no other sugar shack doing this, but I think the people will like to see how maple syrup is made.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about selling it, by the way, because we did a pre-sale on Facebook and an email list a couple days ago, and already I think 2/3 of it is gone. And Hank has only made 35, 40 gallons, and I'm just going out there to make it for a month. So I think that part will be easy. If you want maple syrup, go ahead and buy it cheaper at Costco. I don't care. But bringing you how it's made and showing you the farm and everything remotely is going to be fun. Yeah. And Scott Strong, who's just commented, I'm going to do this from Vermont. Yeah. Scott Strong is actually flying out there to help with the hardest part, the picking, packing, and shipping.
Wow.
And I think every single, how like your dad would say, you should go into the military so they teach you discipline. Did your dad ever say that?
Yeah.
My dad never did, because he knew I wouldn't. That one.
Yeah, you were.
You
wore a tie-dye shirt and you were anti-war. Well, I think everybody at some point in their young teens should have to work in an Amazon factory, picking, packing, and shipping and putting stuff in boxes, so they appreciate all that is done for them when that little truck pulls up to your house. Because when I do the maple syrup, I'm like, oh yeah, made the maple syrup. Yeah, it's all done. And then I go, I got to make boxes. And I sit in a room with Scott and we make boxes for like 2 days, just making boxes with a little tape, put the box together. And then you take you bottle the syrup, you put it in the box, and you put the peanuts around it, and you tape it up, and you realize that for every box you get, or your wife, maybe Melissa, does she still get boxes from Amazon? And does Kelly get boxes from Amazon too?
Amazon built a distribution hub at the end of my street to save gas.
Got it. Okay. For every one of those boxes, and maybe they got machines that do a lot of it, but someone had to pick, pack, and ship all that. It's just the last thought I'll leave you with is how blessed we are to live in a world where we literally go and everything comes to us.
Well, I had your maple syrup this morning, and I am very, very low. I've been not touching it because it is really good and sacred stuff. But when I heard you were making more, I broke into it this morning and added on some protein waffles. And I bet that bottle's 3 years old and it still is tasty. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you could bury with the Egyptians and then crack it open and it would still be good, right?
You could. Yeah.
I mean, that stuff like honey and maple syrup, that it may crystallize, but it lasts forever.
It may, but if you no matter what happens to maple syrup, if you reboil it, it's good as new. So good to know. And if you want to buy any, bobrivers.blog, there's a little story there, but it's going to be gone probably by the time you read. I mean, there's a part of me that's always selling shit. So, oops.
Somebody said there's a guy in Washington State making maple syrup. Do we have trees that will sap?
You can make it out of sugar. What are they called? Vine maples. It's not as good and is much harder to make, but it's maple syrup. It's probably okay. I'm biased. I like Washington for other things. Grunge rock. Nobody makes better grunge rock.
Weed.
Yeah. Weed. My research is limited, although I have a card. But yes, I'm sure that any state where that's legal.
I don't think this is political, but I do want to acknowledge Jimmy Carter, who's entered hospice, because I think he was a pretty great guy. And the only thing I tried to think back, and other than spraying paraquat all over the Mexican weed, I don't think there's much you could point and say, that was probably a mistake. But then when I think about that, if that had not happened, that probably got a lot of people motivated around Washington and California to say, well, we'll just start growing our own. And then the rest is history, and we become a huge weed economy. And part of the reason is probably because President Carter decided to spray the paraquat down there in Mexico all those years ago.
I don't know. I do know there's a wonderful show called, it's not wonderful, but it's very interesting and educational. It's called Narcos. Very well researched, that talks about that time in history. And if you ever want to binge watch a show, like 4 seasons of Narcos, it'll make you feel guilty for ever doing drugs because you got to watch people, cartels murdering people to get the drugs to you. Made me go, oh, geez, was I a part of that? But anyway, in this Narcos, they tell the story of the guy who invented sensimilla. He discovered that by keeping the male plant from the female plant would get plant horny and would, put out stronger and stronger THC. I know I'm simplifying the science a little bit, but that's how it works. And then they got super hugely successful. I forget the name of that particular cartel. And that's when and it got stronger. And that's when the U.S. swooped in with their planes and sprayed paraquat on them. And at the time, there's a great line. I watch these shows and I think there are actual history. Like when I watch The Crown, I think that's really Princess Diana, not an actress playing her. But there's a line in there, and I swear someone must have said this, where the guy goes, this is, and they're all gunfire and fighting and killing each other. And he goes, eventually this is just going to be legal in America anyway. It was a great line to be in that show, because now, of course, it is legal, and it is very strange, very strange. I think
I got a bump.
We're at an hour and 20 minutes. I didn't think we'd go this long. That's so easy talking to you guys. And what a thrill having Kaci back, huh?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Great to see her.
Jeremy says without Jimmy Carter, we wouldn't have micro brew beers. Did he create micro brews?
No, but Billy Beer was so bad, we needed something better.
I guess. I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you, everybody else, for being with us. Spike, you can have the last word. Go ahead.
This is a gift. It's getting to see you guys and talk to you guys. Anytime you want to do it, I'm here. So that's it, man.
Awesome. Cheers, everybody. Peace. Oh, you know what we should do at the end of this? We should play the whole video of Kaci because we only played part of it.
I'm
I
gonna
think I
bounce. You
can-
guys do that.
Yeah,
I gotta
you
go. I gotta
bounce.
go work.
Here's
All right.
Kaci performing with Spike in the.
Hey, hey, mama said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you grow. Child, the way you shake that thing, gonna make you burn, gonna make you stay. Hey, hey, baby, when you walk that way, watch your honey drip, can't keep away. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, I gotta roll, can't stand still, got a flaming heart, can't get my fill. As a child, a burning red, dreams of you all through my head. Hey baby, oh baby, pretty baby, tell me what you do me now. Hey baby, oh baby, pretty baby, move me like a groovy now. Didn't take too long before I found out what people mean by down in hell. Spent my money, took my car, started telling a friend she gon' be a star. I don't know, but I've been told a big leg